Player Supreme Show, brought to you by PlayerSupreme.info. And I'm your host, Player Supreme. Yeah, fellas, welcome to the show. Today, let's delve into fear a little bit, since that is the number one problem that's plaguing 99.9% of the guys who come onto the internet looking for answers. They show up in the different communities, the PUA community, my community, Tyreek's community, even I'm the goddamn Dean's community, which is fear. So we'll look at different types of fear, and we'll begin to look at some ways that you can begin to think about overcoming them. And as much as there are, let's say, potential triggers to your fear, there are also as many types of fear. And they can be categorized into just three basic types as I go into in my course: external, internal, or subconscious. And among the three, the subconscious and internal type of fear are the most difficult to treat. Okay, so we're talking about the subconscious and internal, because the person has to take the initiative to recognize the source of the fear and then take necessary steps to overcome it. So we start by recognizing the category in which your fear fits into, and that'll help you know how to deal with it. So give you a little synopsis preview of my course I'm coming out with. Let's look at external fear. And among the types of fear, the types I mentioned, this one is the easiest to diagnose and handle. That's where your fear of approaching can come from also, unless it's deeply ingrained. So if you just have an external fear of approaching, that's some of girls, basically, that's something that's outside of you, we can deal with that. It's one of the easiest to diagnose and manage. It's similar to phobias, where an outside source is the cause of a degree of internal fear, okay, or even anxiety. For example, fear of spiders or fear of heights. These are common phobias. A feeling of fear, a feeling of anxiety or discomfort gets experienced by the person with that particular fear when the situation confronts them with those triggers. Spider, fear. Heights, fear. My fear of heights was so bad, I couldn't even look at heights in a movie, knowing it's a flat screen. It's up there in the movie theater, it's a flat screen up there. I had to look away. That's how bad mine used to be. Used to be, fellas. That's pretty bad. You can't even look at heights from a camera angle. So I was able to get control of mine. Now, since the source of fear is easier to identify in this type of fear, then you can easily look for alternative ways to confront the trigger and then overcome the fear. Now, since external fears are caused by negative experiences in the past that involve those external sources of fear, you can adapt some techniques that will help you understand the reality of the situation, like hypnosis or some other psychological methods can be used to erase your previous negative association with the triggers. For example, heights. Let me tell you where my first fear of heights came from. I was about 4 years old. My Uncle Sandy, he was about 19 years old, so he's a wise guy. Home from the Navy. My mother and her sister, I recall it to this day, we were at the State Fair in Seattle, Washington. I wanted to go on the Ferris wheel, and she didn't want it. My mother didn't want to do it, so she had, Sandy said, I'll take him. And as soon as we got on there, I knew I should have known better. I should have known. But he began to, as we go up in the air, he began to rock it and say he's going to push me out. And he had me look down and boom, and I could vision myself, even at 4 years of age, falling. That's where my fear of heights started. He rocked the carriage we were in, and actually grabbed me and tried to push me out, and I'm screaming and crying. Oh, what a practical joker! If only he knew the effect that would have. That's the start of mine. Now, these types of fears, as I said, are easy to get rid of and manage. I can actually look out from an airplane now, down at the little cars down at the bottom, because I never really had a fear of height or flying. Actually, fear of flying is a different fear, by the way. Until the external event for me was, as we were getting ready to leave Japan, the Japanese Liberation Army put a bomb on. It was the one of the wheels of the plane. Luckily, they found it. After that, I came back to the States. This is back in the early 70s, and they used to have ABC Sunday night movies, and they begin to show these airplane crash movies, like every year. Airplane crash number 2 next year. Airplane crash number 3 or 2 or whatever, and it just went on. So pretty soon, I'm suddenly afraid of heights, and I'm not afraid of heights, but I was already afraid of heights. But suddenly, I'm afraid of flying. Jeez. So it took me, recognizing where it came from, tracing down the root of it, and then learning to look at it through the eye of a mature adult. But let's go on to the next type of fear, which is internal fear. And this type of fear is closely associated with low levels of self-esteem and confidence. And kind of like external fear, the triggers are coming from an outside source, yet it produces a negative emotion. And by the way, this can also be related to approach anxiety, where your fear of approaching is so bad that you get anxiety about it. This trigger will then produce internal reactions of fear, such as self-doubt or questioning your capability to do something. And a lot of times when people begin to question their own abilities, hey, failure is only on the next course of action to happen. When you start questioning your own abilities, you're bound to fail now. So this type of fear impacts your ability to interact also with the social environment. If you want to conquer internal types of fear, you have to go back to your childhood years where they say it's character development during these times was at its peak. And this is the stage in people's lives wherein they build characters. That's where you're building who you are. But also the stage where they develop fears. Some people will seek professional help, and that's what I do recommend for everybody who's experiencing fear. If you take my course and you still got the problem, then obviously you need professional help. Okay? In my course, we're going to drag your fears out and look at them and trace them down, and then look at them again in the light of day. When you look at fear in the light of day, it kind of shrivels up, kind of loses its edge, kind of loses power over you. Like, you're really afraid of a girl that weighs like 118 pounds? Really? No, really? No, you're not afraid of the girl. What are you really afraid of? Her rejection. Okay, when did this first start? Where you got a fear of rejection? So you begin to go back to your head, realize, oh God. Now here's I've told this story before, true story. We get to Misawa, Japan. That's up near Russia. I'm the new kid at school. You guys probably heard this before, but for the people who haven't, military base. I'm in class. I don't know. I think I was coloring with some shit like that or something like that. Suddenly the bell rings. Everybody gets up and runs out of the class. I asked teacher, where are they going, teacher? She said, you better hurry up, get on the bus so you can go to lunch. I didn't know they bused you across the base for lunch. I run out of the classroom. I was shy and quiet. I run down to all the buses are leaving except the last bus. Bus number 2. I still remember that to this day. Okay, I was in kindergarten. Okay, I run down there and I go up to the door and I ask the old white man driving the bus, can I please get on, sir? And he looks at me and he turns around, I'm kind of full. And he turns around to the other kids. By the way, I was the only full black kid in the class. The other kid that I'm going to mention in a minute, he was half Japanese, half black. Okay, so he turns around to the kids, white kids, and says, should I let him on? And the black and Japanese kid said, no. Now, there was a girl that I had already was crushing on, a little blonde girl. And she laughed, said, no. So the man slammed the door of the bus in my face and drove the fuck off. What do you think that did to my growing character and who I was going to become as a man or as just a toddler or a young boy? What do you think that did to me? Now step outside your own big selfish heads, your own self-centered perspective. Put yourself in my shoes. I'm a little child. I was a child. Okay? What do you think that man's actions did to me? I became more introverted. I became a quiet guy. I say that in reference to the quiet guy on the forum. I quit talking. And then my parents begin to say, something wrong with Chris. He won't talk anymore. He's just shy. So the shy moniker stuck to me. I grew into that. All because of that rejection. Now, after school, I tried to actually kill the kid. I beat him down, and I held his head. I'm at like 5 years old. I held his head in this. In Japan, it rained a lot, and there was always these puddles everywhere. So I tried to drown him. And after that, his mama-san, that's his mother, Japanese mother, began to walk into school. And then she said something to me. I told my mom. My mom was a big black woman, not big, but she was tall and thin, skinny. My dad said looked like a pipe stem with legs. 5'10". Okay, so my mom shows up. Yeah, my mom was no joke. Anyway, think about what that did to me. That's where my fear of rejection came from. Handle it. All right? Do you guys understand? So some people should seek professional help so they can adopt a new perspective in their life to change any behaviors that produce these insecurities and fears. Next, let's look at your subconscious fear. And this type of fear is produced by accepted beliefs in your mind that serve to limit your potential. Even worse, that serve to end up doing what's called self-sabotaging yourself. Basically, you do self-sabotage. This fear is associated with the internal type of fear wherein you have a tendency to question your capacity to achieve something. Light bulb or audio. You question your capacity to achieve something. Thus, we find that the tendency for self-doubt, the tendency for negative self-talk blossoms. And this one requires you to take active steps towards reversing those beliefs and allowing yourself to maximize your true potential. A lot of the subconscious fears require subconscious reprogramming. That's where affirmations come in handy. That's where my type of meditation programs, where I put you to sleep, self-hypnosis, basically. So let me finish up by talking about your goals for overcoming your fears. Because one of the main reasons why people neglect the need to overcome their fears is actually a lack of motivation, so I'm told. Setting goals, fellas, will help increase the desire to manage and overcome your fears. So you set goals in this area. By X date, I'm going to work on this fear. And by this date, I'm going to overcome that fear. I'm going to get it handled. But aside from that, goals will enable you to take careful methods toward reaching a sense of direction and establishing solidity in your life so that you're not rocked with fear everywhere you go. And I see fear all through this whole PUA community. A lot of their products are based on fear. Their ideology is based on fear. Afraid the girl gave you a wrong phone number. Afraid of this, afraid of that. Okay? We have to get that handled so we become more confident individuals. So we got to set goals to overcome our fear. One benefit that you can get from that, aside from getting rid of your fear, is that it offers a more focused direction in your everyday living, as opposed to not having a clear idea of what you're doing every day. So when you set your goal, I'm going to handle fear, you got a direction you're moving in. You're putting your mind in that direction. You're putting the universe around you in that direction. So I want you to set goals as motivation to overcome your fears, so that you enable yourself to have a bigger grasp at the need to fight your fear as an opportunity to grow and delimit yourself. Let yourself shine. Nobody wants to, let me rephrase that, because people end up doing it anyway, but nobody really sets out to live a fear-based life. The fact is, a lot of people don't even realize it, how they're living their lives through fear, based on fear. Only thing they know is fear. Fear, fear, fear. But they don't realize what it is for some people. We get it because the moment you make some weird or stupid excuse as to why you didn't, I read all the time in the forum, why you did not approach. And I haven't seen a valid reason why yet. I've been doing this for a long, long time. I haven't seen one valid reason why a fellow did not approach when they knew a girl's choosing. I see a lot of, I'm trying not to cuss, so let me not cuss. I see a lot of excuses. Weak man's ploys, basically. So we're going to get this shit handled, fellas. Let's get it handled. Our goal is to get rid of fear in our lives. Excuse me. Let me apologize for that. Fear never goes away. It comes back in other forms. Our goal is to be able to handle fear when it shows up, and to be able to manage its effect on us. Okay? So when I say get rid of fear, that's what I mean by that. Fear will never go away, but we want to learn to empower ourselves. This thing, if I was the type that was still afraid, do you think I would have quit my job at Pacific Bell Telephone? Back in the 80s, I was making almost $50,000 a year, in the 40,000s. I was making good money. Back then, that was good money. I was able to take care of myself and take care of my family. Do you think I would have quit that to do my personal training business full time if I had fear? Do you think I ever would have become who I was, who I became, if I had fear in me. And I talked about the fear in my life before, how I was afraid to go out there onto the dance floor. And I showed you what I did. I forced myself to take first step, second step. This go to ask a girl to dance, third step, fourth step. I counted them in my head, fellas. And it took me a long time to learn to overcome this fear. Like the fear of you're sitting there on a couch, a girl's invited you over, and you know you need to kiss her. You guys have experienced that. You know you need to kiss that girl. I've been there myself. Should I kiss her now? Oh God. Okay, let me count to 10. I'll kiss her. Or you're watching a movie with her, and you know she wants you to kiss her, or you want to feel like kissing her, but you don't because of fear. Do you think I would be who I was if I let fear rule my life? Really? Come on, you know better than that, fellas. You know better than that. So just think how your life would be if you conquered your fear. Think how great your life would be. How easy your life would be. How much fun you would be having. How glorious your life would be. How empowered you would feel. Empowered and powerful. Then some people wonder why I came on the internet with all that bravado. I was fresh out of the game. In full game mode still, actually. That's where it came from. What I learned in life. How to push myself and overcome my limitations. Until next time.